There's a certain kind of coach who believes what we believe, who leads people to greatness, who gets people unstuck, who unlocks all of your passion. A coach who helps people discover what drives them, to tap into their superpowers. That knowing your why is the first step to untap potential, to focus, to breakthroughs. A coach who's looking for a better way. Are you that coach?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Why Not Wednesday. I am so excited for our guest today. We have Liz Wendling with us today. Liz is a nationally recognized speaker, a sales consultant, and an author of 6 books. So I don't know how many of you guys have books out there, but she's authored 6 books. Her 2 most recent are The Heart of Authentic Selling and Sell Without Selling Your Soul. Liz is driven by the mantra that it's not what you sell, it's how you sell that matters. And Liz understands the sales challenges that professionals face when selling in today's competitive environment. She shows people how to make a profound difference in their sales approach, their language, and their process, online and offline. So if you're an online marketer, an online seller, or offline in-person seller, today's show is for you. Liz has coached thousands of professionals to build solid business skills, develop a success mindset, exceed their sales expectations, and prosper in any economy. I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
I am so glad you're here, Liz.
And I'm happy to be here. Let's do this.
I love this. You know, that's my role. I am the Chief Growth Officer at Y Institute. I am all about sales. I'm going to steal Krista Martin's line and say, you know what? I love sales. It's my love language. Well, that's your love language. I mean, that's what you do. And I got to tell you, since I met you, Liz, I've learned so much from you. And I said this, we're in a mastermind together. And I said this to the group, and I'll say it here. You are a wealth of knowledge. And so I want to share as much of that as I can with our audience today. So, Liz, anything you want to add to that introduction?
You're right. I love sales. And I will always tell people sales is easy. It's the professional who's doing selling that makes it challenging and difficult. Selling is easy if you follow some steps and you know some good fundamentals. It's easy.
Yes.
So if you're making it too hard, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, I love that you just went there. So do you guys hear what Liz said? Said if you're making it too hard, you're not doing it right. Guess what her YOS is? Liz, her why is to find a better way. Her how is to simplify. So she is all about, let's not make it too hard. Let's find the simple way to do it. Let's implement it. And her what is trust. So that tells me, hey, Liz, whatever she says, you can count on. And I think we all love working with people with the why of trust, because if they say they're going to do something, guess what? They do it. And that's one of the things I've really enjoyed about our brief relationship. I think we've known each other for a couple of months. Yeah. Liz, you tell it like it is. And Simplify people tend to do that. Hey, I'm going to talk to you in bullets, Dan. This is what name, bam, bam. This is what we're going to do. And guess what? I'm going to be dependable. If I tell you I'm going to do something, that's what I'm going to do. So let me say hi to a few people that just joined us. Danica Treble says hello. Lynn Everard is, I think, in Florida, is joining us. And hey, look, our good friend Jackie Joy. She says Liz is an incredible sales consultant, and her books are packed with gold. I know. They are amazing. Kit Cassingham was on the show a couple of weeks ago. She's amazing. So thanks for being on. And then Better Way Simplify there too. So Danica shares your why and your how. So first of all, let's talk about that. I think, one of the things we talked about is you are so good at finding better ways to do things, making them simple and packaging them for your clients. That's kind of your thing. So tell me about what it is that you do for your clients that helps them find a better way and simplify things.
Well, it's taking what they think is challenging and watering it down and drilling it down to what do they need to learn in the way that they learn so that they can retain it and use it over and over and over again. Not a fire hose of information is what
Right.
exactly do you need right now to move to the next level, to be a little more successful in your business, to get around an obstacle that you keep running into. Let's figure out what that is and what you're currently doing, why you're making it too challenging. And then
Right.
we'll get in there, simplify it, put it together, package it in a way that you have your seal of approval on it. I don't
Mhm.
teach everyone the same thing all day, every day. Everyone I work with gets a customized program built
Mhm.
for them, their language. It has to resonate with them and feel good for them.
Right.
And then we put a big bow on it and off they go.
And off they go, and then they're really successful. Look at Hugh Hornsby. He says, Liz is a rock star. Why does Better Way, Simplify, and Trust not surprise me? So Hugh obviously knows you. And again, he was on the show recently, and
I
we got to
listen,
hear
yeah.
a lot about what Hugh does as a tremendous sales leader. So I'm sure you guys have had some of those great conversations about
Yes.
how to simplify some things, make them easier so his folks can succeed. So tell me about your books, because I mean, 6 books. Where do you find the time, Liz?
I used to say I hate writing. I'm not a good writer, but when you have a good editor, you're a good writer.
Excellent.
Well, I feel like I always have so much to say, and I
Mhm.
decided to. I did a lot of articles, wrote a lot of blogs, and I thought I do have more to say. So I packaged it in a book. My Sell Without Selling Your Soul is for women in sales.
Okay.
And then my Heart of Authentic Selling is for anyone, men, women, attorneys, non-attorneys, professionals who sell services and know they're looking for that simplified way, but real direct. This
Yeah.
is the process. I don't just tell people what to say and how to say it. I
Right.
tell them why it matters and why it matters now more than ever. Why now do things have to be different? People
Yeah.
are not looking to you for the old school stuff, all that
Right.
outdated crap that turns people off. So it's a little bit more of the modern sales process that people are embracing.
So what's different? So you talked about it, the old school selling stuff. I know one of the things that I watched this video and it just made me laugh because I remember as a young pharmaceutical sales rep right out of the military, I remember being taught feel, felt, found. And I know that for you is like nails on a chalkboard, right? So that's old school. So tell us, let's take us through an example. Because in case somebody hasn't heard of feel, felt, found, tell us
All
what
right.
that's like, and then what's the different about working with the way you do it?
Well, old school, new school, like anything. Things
Right.
evolve, things change, the world changes, the consumers change, everything changes. So, why would we think selling wouldn't change along with that?
Right.
Now, there are fundamentals of sales that will never change. We have to connect, we have to communicate, we have to listen, we have to ask questions.
Right.
But there's a better way to do that now. So, old school stuff, for example, was what you said. We'll go with 4 F words: feel, felt, found, and then I'll talk about follow up. But
Right.
feel, felt, found is a technique that's been around for maybe 40 years, maybe longer, where someone says, "Oh, that's a little expensive," or "You know what, we don't have the budget for that," or "Let me go, I have to run it up the flagpole. I need to talk to some people."
Right.
And what the salesperson or the professional says is they whip out this technique they learned in killer sales training school.
Right.
And they say, Dan, I understand how you feel. That's the first step.
Right.
And others have felt that way too. And what we found is this. So basically what they're saying is, yeah, I understand how you feel. I'm going to throw that line out there. And some of the other misinformed people felt the same exact way. But let me tell you why you're wrong and I'm right. And it negates the objection. It doesn't say, "You know what, Dan, I appreciate you bringing that up and that you have some other people to talk to," or
Right.
"I appreciate that there's a few other people in the decision-making process," which these days you should know that even before you get into a sales call like that.
Right.
But an objection is just part of the conversation. It
Yes.
isn't where you whip out a tactic and you make someone feel stupid. That doesn't work anymore. So we have to be in conversation with people, not talking at people. If there's a conversation that moves and it has momentum and a flow where both hearts are open and the conversation stays that way as well.
Well, you just brought something up that reminded me. I sent you a sample follow-up email. So that's the next one, right?
Yeah.
And you took that email and you gave me some great feedback on it, on how I could make it better. We don't realize how much we use the word I in conversation and in our written communication. I was embarrassed by how much of that was in there when you looked at it and you said, Dan, hey, let's make it about them. Let's make it about them, and let's throw some you statements in there, and let's talk to them, not at them. So
Right.
what's the difference between talking to someone and talking at someone?
Well, when you say to someone and you use that, what you said, a lot of I language, I'm following up with you. I wanted to get back to you. I wanted to see if you're ready to get started. I'm,
Right.
wanting to pick up our conversation. That's all about you. That's very
Right.
self-centered. So it is not about me. It's not collaborative. It doesn't pull me into the conversation.
Mhm.
One of the things we talked about was when someone says, I would love to get together with you. I'd love to get on your calendar. I'd love to have a conversation with you. That's all about what I want.
Right.
So when you pepper in a you statement, if I said, hey, Dan, how do you feel about hopping, getting on each other's calendars? Or how do you feel about grabbing some lunch next week and finishing our conversation? What are
Yes.
your thoughts on moving to the next step or setting up another meeting? How do you feel about doing X, Y, and Z? Then
Yeah.
I'm inviting you versus telling. So the big difference is one is telling and the
Mhm.
other is inviting. One says, I'm going to tell you what I want. I want to get on your calendar. I want 20 minutes on your calendar versus, do you have any time next week for a 20-minute conversation?
I love that. And I literally use that because one of the things we talked about on our mastermind the other day was, how do we set appointments, right? Do we send out a calendar link? Is that too impersonal? Or do you go back and forth 7 emails before you finally figure out a time that you're going to meet? And I think one of us brought it up. How about you ask, hey, how do you like to set appointments, Liz? Do you
Yeah.
like to can we just pick up the phone and figure out a time?
Yeah.
Or what would be the best? And now you're in a conversation versus telling somebody what to do. So
Yes.
let's look at a couple of, I got to give you some props here. So we already know that he thinks you're a rock star, but he said add energy and excitement. And of course we get that. We might just blow up here with the energy and excitement between the two of us. Danica wants to know how to get the book. So we're going to tell you in a little while, Danica. I think we're going to put it in the chat too.
Cool.
Lynn Everett says, James Wedmore says, only people who have objections are actually interested in buying. And I stole a line from Jackie Joy, who's also joining us. She said, no is not the end of the conversation. No that's where you start, right? That's where we start. Once we start hearing no, that's when somebody's really saying, okay, tell me really how do I use this, right? And Kit says, hey, you're hitting some of my pet peeves in selling. I love the asking approach to connecting. So thank you, Kit, so much. So you've got the two books. The
Mhm.
Heart of Authentic Selling, that was for women. Or no, Sell Without Selling Your Soul was for women.
Yes.
What about The Heart of Authentic Selling? And did Larry Levine have a chapter?
No, but he and I swapped books. We read each other's books and we gave each other a review. So mine is a little more, has a little more technique in it. So a little bit more of stop doing this and start doing this. So
Right.
I put a lot of that in there. I don't want to just say to someone, stop saying, I'd love to get together with you. I want to give you options.
Right.
Stop saying, I want to follow up, touch base, reach out, check in, which is so old school.
Yeah.
And what are the other options? So I like to do it a little bit more. My books are more, even though they're books, they feel like you're in a workshop because I do a before and after. And it allows people to go, oh, I never thought of saying it that way, or, oh, that is a better way.
Right. I call that the Brady Bunch reaction. Gee, Dad, I never really thought of it that way, right? The kids always said that on the show.
And
I love that.
I'm not suggesting that what anyone is doing is wrong. What
Right.
I'm suggesting is that there is a better way, a more effective way. I don't know about you, but I don't want to have to follow up 14 times. I don't want to ever have to send a follow-up message that says, I've emailed you 11 times and I haven't heard back from you.
Yes.
That means your messages are missing the target.
Right.
That means go back, rewrite them from the start. It means it's you, it's not them. People don't blow people off. They blow people off who go in their inbox and abuse it. That's when they blow people off and delete their emails.
Hey, look at that. Jackie Joy said, here's the link. So, Jackie, thank you so much. You know what? We have so many people helping on this show. This is great. Sunil doesn't even have to put that up. So, thank you very much, Jackie. You can find it on Amazon, The Heart of Authentic Selling, Power Connection. So,
I don't think that's it.
That's not it.
I don't
Okay,
think
well,
that's it.
we'll
Yeah.
put the correct link, and you can always reach out to Liz, Danica, and she's on LinkedIn. She's connected to me, and of course, Danica says because there is always a better way. Because there is a better way. I love how you're talking, Liz, because you're talking right out of your YOS. It's not something you're making up. It's not something I think I prompted you to do. It's just how you work. You find a better way, you simplify it, and you build trust using it. Hugh says people do not like being sold, right?
They don't, but they like being led. They like someone who takes the lead in the conversation and says, how about we do this? What are your thoughts on this? Why don't we continue the conversation? And moves people to the end result, whether it's a yes or a no. So they do like a leader in the conversation. Somebody has to lead the call. Why not the professional who's doing the selling?
Yeah, and Larry talks a lot about a sales professional versus a salesperson, right?
Yeah.
Are you a sales professional? Do you put in the time to learn? I will tell you, for everybody that's listening, and this is no joke, my productivity, my close rate has gone up so much since spending a little bit of time with Liz. We are doing so much better, and I think a lot of it has to do with experience, and you learn things. But Liz, you were so helpful, despite where we were. You know, the YOS was not a fit for Liz because of the way that you work. So we went from, okay, so that's not a fit for me. But you said, hey, Dan, let me give you some feedback. And you gave me some feedback that I implemented immediately. It went into my follow-up emails. It went into the conversations, the way I crafted my conversations, even the way I prepare for calls. So if you're thinking of working with someone who can really help you improve your sales process, look, I've been doing this 20 some, I don't even want to say how many years I've been doing this, but I learned so much from you, Liz. So if anybody out there is thinking of getting a sales coach, you know, a lot of our coaches are amazing. They do great work with their clients, but the sales part is the part that they have a hard time with. So I know that they would all be immensely benefit from a little bit of coaching. So get in touch with Liz. That's just a plug. I'm putting that in right in the middle of the show because you are amazing. I wanted to let you know that. Tell me about secret shopping assessments. What is that about?
Oh, that's where my alter ego comes out. So I do mostly law firm secret shopping. So law firms will hire me to go undercover and I am their ideal client. So I take on the persona, the mindset, and the problem that an ideal client would be calling a law firm about.
Okay.
So whether it's a divorce, a bankruptcy, an estate plan, or being rear-ended by a FedEx truck.
Right.
And I am hired by the managing partner to scrutinize that whole process. How are they talking to me on the phone? How are they moving me to say yes to making a decision to do a Zoom call with one of the attorneys?
Right.
And then they set me up with an attorney to do an initial consultation, which is just like everybody on this call. We all have to get face to face with a potential client, just like you and I did. But I am scrutinizing how they're talking to me. How are they building value? Are they even building value? How do they talk about money? Are they confident when they talk about how they can help them? Do they ask questions that open me up or shut me down? Do they only talk about the law or do they find out more about myself? See, a lot of professionals are okay and comfortable talking about what they do. They're less comfortable going into what is happening in your world. And I have my secret shopping, few of my secret shopping names is Alice. So Alice, I know you're here for a divorce consultation. So instead of an attorney saying, so what brings you in today? I call that the Home Depot question. That is not enough to open someone up. There has to be more. So when an attorney starts out a consultation that way, they're starting so far behind the 8 ball versus Liz, Alice, I appreciate you coming in today. I know that when you scheduled a consultation with my intake professional, he or she told you that our call was going to be about 40 minutes. And some of the things I'd like to cover is this, or lay out some sort of a roadmap.
Right.
First, I'd like to talk about this. And then you and I have to get into the specifics of divorce in Colorado. And then finally, what we'll do is we'll go through the process. We'll talk about what it might look like to we'll look at the retainer and how much it
Right.
might be for your specific divorce.
Right.
I just laid out the red carpet for you, told you exactly what you can expect, which means you're now more relaxed and open and
Right.
able to listen. And now the magic starts versus setting yourself up and trying to have to catch up to make that connection.
Here's what we're going to do.
Yep.
Here's the way this next 45 minutes is going to be for you. I can see how that relaxes people, right? This is what we're going to do. This is the roadmap. And you said that earlier. People don't want to be sold, but they want to be led.
That's it.
And if you're the professional and you're in charge, let them know what's going to happen, right? At the end of the call, we're going to talk. You said it. At the end of the call, we're going to talk about the retainer.
Yeah.
And we're going to figure out what's the right option for you.
Right.
At the end of the call, we're going to talk about my coaching fee and what that's going to involve depending on what kind of help you need, right? So
And
coaches,
it makes sense, right?
that's how you're setting up that call, right?
Yes. Well, and if I went to the eye doctor or the dentist, or I was having a mole removed, instead of the doctor coming in and her putting a big hole in the back of my arm, I would hope that she would say, Liz, let me tell, or the nurse might say, Liz, here's how the beginning of your appointment's going to go. First, we're
Right.
going to have you undress. We're going to numb the area. Then the
Right.
doctor's going to come in. She's going to put a 6-inch incision in the back of your arm. We'll stitch it up. That totally relaxes people. So
Right.
I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care who you're selling to. If you can relax and open up the person who is in front of you, you are way ahead of the game.
I love that. And you know what? Only you could probably say that it relaxed you that somebody told you they're going to put a 6-inch incision in your arm. But just knowing what's coming, right? Versus being surprised. So Danica said, oh, well, first Lynn says, this is all gold for me as someone who spent 34 years in purchasing management. Lynn, I am sure you had some bad salespeople in front of you, and you probably heard, feel, felt, found at least a million times.
Oh, yeah.
And Danica says, oh my word, that sounds like a dream job. She was talking about your secret shopper. I think she would enjoy that.
If I could figure out a way to go undercover all day, every day, that would be fun. And I have 100% track record. No one has ever said, I knew it. I knew you weren't real. Every time an attorney is told that I was not a real client, they said, oh my gosh, you were good. Even because sometimes I could even cry if I have to, even though I've never been divorced, I could still turn on the waterworks if I have to. But because I take it there's such passion behind it, and I'm not there to pick them apart and throw them under the bus. I get to find out exactly where the wheels came off, exactly what's broken. Then I fix what's broken. I tell attorneys, I don't fix what's not broken. We get in there and we fix the areas that are costing you clients and income.
Well, exactly. And I think, one of the things that I know about you, Liz, you're coming from a position of you want to serve people. You can't serve them if you don't find out what's wrong. So the better job you do as an actress posing as a secret shopper, the more information the more gold you're going to be able to dig up so that they can be better at what they do. And I think that's the first thing. I think you're thinking about your clients. My coach, Jerry Lujan, says, look, before we get in front of an audience, before you present, I always ask myself, okay, how am I going to make a difference for them? And I think if we take that approach before we meet with a client, before we go in as a secret shopper, how can I make the most positive impact for this client? Then we're open to listening and being better for them. And I just see that coming out of you.
I even had to spend 8 hours at a spa. I had to have 5 treatments one day. I was hired by a spa and I got the most incredible day and had to scrutinize all 5 people that did my feet, my nails, my hair, gave me a massage. And it was so nice because even they have to sell. Even they have customer service that they have to be hitting all the targets. And if you have a bad day, that client doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the client. You have to be on all the time.
Right. Yeah, they don't care what's going on at home. They're there for service, right? So let's give them what they're looking for. Jackie says you're easing the fears up front that they may be feeling
Because we
when you
know they're
set that
coming in.
agenda.
Yep. We know people are coming in because they don't know what someone's going to do to them, right? We
Right.
don't know what the doctor's going to do, the divorce attorney is going to do, or someone who's redoing your website, professional service there, or a financial planner, CPA.
Yes.
We don't know if they're going to want to go into our tax returns or whatever. So it's nice to know the agenda so that I could be open to receive. That's it.
Love that. And that, yeah, exactly. And then maybe that if it's not a fit, that you can also, you're setting the agenda early and say, that's not what I'm looking for. Let's redirect, right? So Hugh said it's all about your client's world. What is important to them, show that you care. Jerry Fletcher says, fascinating. There is a better way here. So
Yes,
Jerry, we're looking
Jerry.
forward to seeing you in Albuquerque soon. That's going to be awesome. Let me ask you about some of your recent posts, because you had some fun ones, and I want to talk about them.
Okay.
One that said, "Don't fake it till you make it." That's garbage advice. Face it till you make it. Get up, work hard, fail, stand back up, face it again, do it a little better, fail again, get back up, and repeat. So, what does that mean?
That is life. Isn't that what we do? We did that the minute we started walking as babies. You can't, well, you just can't fake life. You can't. When
Right.
you're not good at something, or you feel like you internally you could be a little better at something, or
Mhm.
you miss the mark, or say, "Oh, I did it again. I went on a sales call and I forgot to do something."
Mhm.
It's owning that. It's not faking it. It's saying, "You know what? I screwed up, or that wasn't as good. That wasn't my highest and best self that I could be."
Yeah.
I either need to go in back and clean it up, or I need to find someone who can help me clean it up so I can get on my way. So no faking it. It's getting in there and facing it and being so real with yourself. Sometimes it hurts. No one wants to look back and go, "That wasn't so good."
Right.
But it's where we learn. It's the only place we grow. If we're faking it, we're not growing.
I love that, because you can't fake walking, right?
No.
If you said it starts when we learn to walk. You can't fake that. Hey, I know how to walk. You don't know how to walk, and so guess what? Your clients know that you're
They
faking.
do. They totally do. Yep.
Just
On
like when we
some
see a
level.
baby crawling, pretending that they're walking. Guess what? We know you're not walking. We can tell. When everyone zigs, you zag. Following the masses is lethal to your business. Don't be afraid to chart a different course.
And I say that a lot to my clients, because we all get, I don't know, couple of hundred of emails a week. We get on LinkedIn and there's 47 in our inbox, and
Right.
every one of them sounds exactly the same. "Hi, my name is, I can help you with this. I'm really good at that. We can help you save money, save time, make more
Right.
sales." They all sound the same. So if you sound like everyone else, you're going to be treated like everyone else, and you're going to get deleted. Versus an email, I call it the verbal 2x4. You hit them with that. Your message has to stop them long enough to go, "Oh, wow, I never thought about that." Or, "You know what? She brings up a good point." Or, "I think I want to have a conversation with this person, or follow this person, or dive a
Mhm.
little deeper." I don't care what it is, but if you sound the same, you look the same, and everything you do is the same, then you will be put in the box of they're just like everyone else.
Right. And you want to stand out, right? This is all about getting clear, standing out, and playing bigger. So I love that. The last one. And I think I'm going to leave this for the last, but sitting on the fence will hurt your ass. You've got two choices: go back over where you were, or jump to where you want to be.
Again,
That's about taking action, right?
that's it. It's take it one way or another.
Mhm.
And it's the difference. People like to talk about what they want a lot of times. So they're sitting on the fence telling you, "Oh yeah, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year," or, "Oh yeah, I'm going to triple my sales this year." Okay. And then they just sit on the fence and they don't do anything. So
Right.
you could talk about it, but make a decision to either take the action to move toward that goal, or get off the fence and just go back to what you were doing, because talking about it does nothing. Action is the only thing.
I love that. The world, Watson Jordan was on. I think he's not on today. He's always like, look, the universe rewards action. Let's
Totally.
take action.
Yeah.
Whether it's you go back to where you were, or you jump over the fence and make a new decision, that's fantastic.
Right.
So let's talk about your why not moment, because I get into these great conversations. I forget my signature question is, tell me about a time you said why not to something, Liz, and it worked out for you.
Oh my, this one is, I just warms my whole body up when I think about it. When I was stopped I was speaking at a conference, and the topic was opening is the new closing.
Uh-huh.
And so I was talking about how there's no such thing as a magical closing phrase. There is
Right.
no one liner that you could whip out at the end of a sale that's going to make someone buy from you. So this woman walked up to me. She was a manager of a law firm here in Denver. And she said, "Do you work with attorneys?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And meanwhile, I never did. But
Right.
we just say yes and figure it out. And then when I left, I started second guessing myself, and I went back into, you can't do that. You've never done that. You don't know anything about this. And then I realized something so big, that they were hiring me. They wanted to hire me for my expertise. They
Mhm.
weren't hiring me to look over some legal briefs.
Right.
They were looking for someone who knew sales and sales conversion. They weren't hiring me to help them in their legal practice. So I realized, oh, okay, they're smart in the legal world and I'm smart in the sales world. And I just said, why not? I could make this work. And it worked so well. I couldn't believe that in that moment, a new niche for me was built. And
And
that's why
that's
I
your
wrote,
specialty. That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
your niche. And so how long ago was that?
That was 11 years ago. And my passion for working with attorneys found me. I didn't go out
Yeah.
looking for it. That's when I knew that moment was pivotal for me to say, why not? Because it did change my life.
I love that. That is that I'm just gonna say that I love that it warms your heart. I love that it's your new niche, and I love that you were open to it, because sometimes, you could have just as easily said, "Well, no, I've never worked with attorneys
Yeah,
before."
and I'm not comfortable. I could have gone back into me sitting on the fence, hurting my ass, but I took a leap. I jumped over to the other side.
I
So I
love
still, that's a small niche that I work with. I still work with anyone who sells professional services, but I do have a love for working with attorneys because they don't know how to sell. They don't even believe they have to. So first I have to get over the hump of, yes, you do.
right.
Everyone
Gary
sells.
talks about that all the time. You can build a great practice, have a great office. You know what? If you build it, they will come. Does it work?
Not anymore.
Right?
Yep.
People aren't just going to come to you. You've got to bring them in. That's fantastic. Danica says, say yes and figure it out. Yep, that's how we roll as Better Way folks. We'll find that. We'll figure it out as we go. So Liz, we're at the end of our time. This has been so fun, and you have given us so much gold. I know everybody that's listening has enjoyed this. What would you say to a coach? So you've been on the other side of my sales pitch, and I talk to coaches every day. Everybody I think that's commented today is one of our coaches or is going to be one of our coaches. And then we have other people that just listen, and then they're not going to say anything until I talk to them in a week or two. They're going to say, "Oh, I listen all the time," and I get so mad, and I say, "Well, comment so I know you're there." But what would you say to someone that I'm talking to that's thinking of adding the YOS to their repertoire as a coach? What would you say to someone that's thinking about adding that?
Probably get your butt off the fence. But because I was in that same situation, I could see the value in the product. I can see the value in becoming a coach, but I couldn't see how much more I can simplify what I do.
Right.
But I know in my heart, I'm still not a hard no yet. So I asked you if you could allow me, and this is what I would tell people. I'm a feeling person. When something feels right, I'm a heck yes. I don't second guess myself. I do not have buyer's remorse. So I'm not a heck yes yet, but I'm allowing myself to see what's possible. So I would say take a pause, do a little, not tons of research, but feel it out and ask yourself, where in my body am I resisting this? And I'm resisting in my heart right now.
Yeah.
I'm not letting my head get involved, but I'm not a heck no. I am still in the conversation.
And that is such great advice for salespeople too, right? Sometimes your client's just not ready. They're not saying no to you. They don't hate you. Right. They're just saying, "Hey, I'm not ready yet." David Fish, one of our coaches, he's in Australia. I remember I talked to him and he said, "Well, I'm not there yet, Dan. Let's stay in touch." We stayed in touch. 6 months later, I'm literally just going about my business and I get an email, hey, I'm in the training. I'm like, wait a minute. And so he just made the decision, jumped over the fence, signed up, and next thing we knew, we were talking. And so you have to give people room to feel comfortable with that. So
Right.
Liz, that is great advice. Danica says, wait, it's over already. No, not yet. So thank you, Danica, for being on. Why don't we end on that note, Liz?
Why not?